Guys, we're all Homos and we're all Neanderthals. That's crazy, right? Because up until recently, scientists used to think that only Europeans and Asians had Neanderthal DNA. But recently, they did their fancy dancy DNA mapping techniques and genome sequencing and all that. And they found out that Africans too have Neanderthal DNA, which is crazy, right? This was the previous hypothesis. Now, a long time ago, about 60, 70,000 years ago, some populations of humans were like, you know what? We don't want to live in Africa. There was an out of Africa movement around 60,000 years ago. And they were like, F Africa, bro. We're out. And so they started moving out. Not necessarily in one huge group, not one huge group, but rather a small population. Small populations of humans started just moving northwards out of Africa. And when they went, the farther they went, and they approached East Asia and the Middle East, they started encountering another species of humans, and this species of humans were the Neanderthals. Now, Neanderthals are actually our cousins, bro. They are Homo cousins. We're all Homos, all Homo cousins in this. And so are Homo erectus and Homo habilis. Now, people think Neanderthals, humans came out of Neanderthals. No. I mean, some people might think that because, we share that. But nah, Neanderthals and humans actually diverged about 500,000 years ago. We diverged. We all had a common ancestor. But they went their way and we went our way. And that's why we looked alike. Actually, one of the characteristics of Neanderthals is that they actually had similar sizes of brain, right? The brains were about the same size, although they had a bigger brain. Although it must be noted, just having a bigger brain doesn't mean you're more smarter. Now, they had a bigger brain. They were about the same height as us, but they were a lot more sturdier. That's kind of the reasons why, if you've watched the Croods, when you see they're depicted as having being more muscular and being more hairy, because they evolved up in Europe and Asia. This back then this was a lot colder. All humans evolved in Africa. Not all humans, all Homo sapiens. I must be a lot more precise because they were humans too. They were just a different species of humans. Now, anyway, as these groups of humans started moving out of Africa movement was picking up speed, and the humans were moving out of Africa and into Asia and Europe, they started encountering this Neanderthals. And for whatever reason, they started breeding with each other. I don't know why. But apparently some human bros were like, some humans, some Neanderthals and some Homo sapiens were like, I don't know. They had some kind of attraction towards each other, and they started breeding with each other. And of course, this led to some, what we call in science, gene flow. Gene flow is basically when species intermarry. And once we intermarried, some human beings started carrying this Neanderthal DNA, part of Neanderthal DNA, right? And we didn't necessarily breed with them exclusively. Of course, the relationship wasn't always wasn't always good. We fought, we competed with each other for resources, for food, for space. So many of them ended up dying, right? The Neanderthals, for whatever reason, they just started disappearing up about 60,000 years ago. And this was right after humans arrived in that region. So most scientists think we killed them, and at some point we actually interbred with them. But it's not clear yet. It's not clear exactly what happened. But obviously there was some overlapping between Neanderthals and humans. So anyway, this was the notion all along, that humans just went one way. And so the people who remained in Africa, most of Africans who remained in Africa, the notion was that they never had any Neanderthal DNA because they had never left. But this isn't true. This is where the whole thing happens, right? So apparently, after the first there was an out of Africa movement 60,000 years ago, something interesting happened 20,000 years ago. So apparently 20,000 years ago, there was actually an invert of an out of Africa movement. So instead of humans moving out, some people actually were like, yo, you know what? We're tired with Europe, man. We don't want to live in Europe, man. F this cold. and some groups of Africa of humans started to actually move from Europe back to Africa. This was about 20,000 years ago. I mean, it's not clear why this happened, but I don't know. It might be the cold. Maybe the Europe got too crowded. I don't know. It's unclear. But they came back, and when they came back, remember these people who had left 60,000 years ago, after spending about 30,000 years up in Europe, up in Asia, when they came back, they had this part of Neanderthal DNA. And so they came back and they started breeding with Africans or the African population of humans. And this ended up spreading that Neanderthal DNA. So currently, even humans, even Africans who live in the middle of nowhere, Africa, have Neanderthal DNA. Not because they ever left, no, but because some groups of humans actually came back from Europe and back into Africa, and they spread that Neanderthal DNA back to the original the population of humans in Africa. So I was thinking about. I mean, that was pretty cool because I always thought that Neanderthal DNA only existed in Europeans and Europeans and Africans. But still, I mean, it still remains that, Europeans still hold about 2% of Neanderthal DNA, while Africans only have 0.3% on average. Yeah, I thought that to be pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, I've been doing a lot more reading and studying on human evolution and human basically the prehistory of humans, and how humans have been using tools to adapt to the environment and the existence of fire. And yeah, it's really cool. I would really challenge anybody to really start looking. Although I know evolution, I mean, the theory of evolution is a bit controversial. For the people who are religious, they might not. That might be a bit of a sensitive topic, but nonetheless, I thought the Neanderthal, the fact that they're actually interbreeding with humans, I thought that would be pretty cool. And yeah. Anyway, I don't think I have much to say today, other than to share that I just came from work actually, and yeah. And I'm probably gonna be going back. It's been 7 minutes already. Uh, so, by the way, did I mention that Neanderthals went extinct about 40,000 years ago? I already mentioned that, huh? But it's unclear why they went extinct. But did I mention that one reason why scientists think Neanderthals went extinct is that they just ate too much. They just needed too much calories. Humans, when we evolved as persistent hunters. Now, persistent hunting is like wild dogs. I don't know if you've all watched wild dogs. Wild dogs hunt by chasing their prey to death. They they hunt in packs. When they find an antelope or like a zebra or whatever, they just chase it, and they just keep chasing it up until the zebra or the antelope just collapses. And that's how we humans evolved. And that's why we don't have any hair. When you look at us, every human doesn't have that much hair. Of course, we have hair. But it's just so little, you can't see it. Unlike primates, unlike chimpanzees and gorillas who have like so much hair. Because we needed to lose that hair so we can sweat. Because if you don't sweat, you can't run for that long. Your body needs to cool down. So we humans evolved differently because we couldn't afford to require so much food. Because food only came, you can only chase so many animals at a time before you fail. I mean, the success rate is really low when you're chasing an animal by foot. I mean, definitely life was a lot harder back then, bro. Can you just think about it? Having to chase your food, having to chase an antelope or deer. Do you know how fast deer run, bro? And you have to chase it until the deer literally just collapses and gives up, and then you have to attack it and crunch it and like bite it or like stab it or whatever. So that's one of the reasons why Neanderthals went extinct. They just required too much food at a time when food was rare. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy when I think about it. So that's one of the main reasons. They just couldn't run as fast as we could. They didn't have that endurance that we did have. And they had too much hair, so they couldn't cool down as much. And they're also not as smart. They had the same size of, they had the same brain size, but they just had far less neural connections, and that's what matters. That's why elephants are not smarter than humans, even though they have a big head. Elephants don't have that many neural connections. That's how we make decisions, right? Neurons, neurons and neurotransmitters, they fire up and all that fancy stuff, and that's what makes us think. That's what gives us the conscience. That's what makes us humans, and that's what makes us be able to make great stuff like podcasts, like me. Can you imagine like Leon making? Can you imagine an elephant making a podcast? That's impossible because they have this bigger brain. They have bigger brains than us, but that doesn't mean they're smart. That's why we have cars, we have computers, and a MacBook Air, bro. Can you imagine how can an elephant, a Neanderthal, making a MacBook Air? But they were still our cousins, so shout out to our Homo cousins, even though we killed them off. So that's the other reason why scientists think they died off. We killed them. I mean, we're so violent, bro. We kill all the species just because they don't look like us. But good thing is, before we killed all of them, we kind of interbred with them, and they gave us some of our DNA, some of their DNA, so we're 2% Neanderthals. Is that a win? Is that a loss? Is it bad being, I don't know, does having 0.3% Neanderthal DNA make me better or worse? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. We shall see how it turns out. I mean, there's more findings that are being done with all these tools, fancy tools, and whatever. But I don't know what that means as being human. But it was nonetheless very interesting. So this is how, for those who don't know, Neanderthals are not. They were humans, but they were not. We didn't come from them. Okay, we were separate species. They just happened to live by us. But there was one species that was actually before us. That's the Australopithecus. So Australopithecus, that was the OG human. Australopithecus was the OG human. And then after Australopithecus, we had Homo erectus, which is the OG human who actually could stand. And that's why we had this upright stature. Before that, humans walked on four limbs, and Homo erectus was like, "Yeah, fuck, bro. I'm not touching the ground, bro." So he started just walking on 2 feet, and that's what enabled us to live in the savannah. Because when you stand on 2 feet, you can look farther. Because we evolved in Africa, and Africa is mostly plain land. So for you to see far, and you needed to see far because you don't know where the lion is. For you to spot a lion or spot a gazelle. Now you needed to spot the lion because you needed to know when to run, but you also needed to spot a gazelle because that's the only way. That was food. A gazelle, not necessarily just gazelles, but any kind of herbivore or like edible stuff. So yeah, that was interesting. And like I said, I know evolution is a very sensitive topic for a lot of people. So some people don't believe in this, and I don't know. Not that I don't believe in it, but it's obviously there's not enough findings to have a very conclusive conclusion, a good conclusion. But it's still very interesting to read about it, and yeah. But Neanderthals did share a lot of stuff with us. They could also bury their dead. They buried their dead. They had fire. Obviously, Homo erectus had fire, so we've had fire for a long time. That's what makes us different with monkeys. For whatever reason, monkeys don't have fire, and they I don't know why. I mean, I don't know if they're ever gonna have fire because they're so well adapted to eating fruits and vegetation. We humans don't do that, bro. We eat meat. We like eating meat, and that's just an evolutionary trait. And we've been able to make meat more tasty by adding salt and by cooking it. But for whatever reason, monkeys and gorillas and chimpanzees, they've never figured that out. And people think, people usually thought that, and for a lot of people think that monkeys are somehow derived, that we came out of monkeys. We did not do that. Okay, we didn't come out of monkeys. We separated with monkeys hundreds of millions of years ago, and we just evolved our own way. So while we look the same, while we have kind of like the same, we have limbs and we have opposable thumbs, they're not. We're not monkeys. They were just, yeah. They didn't evolve as great as we did. But anyway, that kind of concludes my very interesting topic today. So let's go ahead and do a few shout outs. I only got 5 likes on my last video. It's okay. I'll improve in it. I mean, that's just let's go. Let's go ahead and do a few shout outs to people who liked my previous video. That's all you have to do. Oh, I had 7 likes. Yes, 7 likes, bro. That's a huge, bro. To get people to like your video, that's a lot, right? So I want to thank Masiko Man. Thank you very much, Masiko Man. Thank you very much, Lin Churchir. And thank you very much, Nick Mukoma, all the way from I believe the northeast Boston. And obviously, thank you very much, Moses Bet. Moses Bet is my village mate. Must always mention Moses Bet. And thank you, Gloria, wonderful Gloria Chalimo. Thank you very much, Emmanuel Roby, all the way from El Paso, Texas. I can't wait to go back to Texas, bro. Thank you very much, Roby. I hope you're doing great. And Tyrone, bro, thank you much, my brother. Tyrone Beer, the great Marine from Taylee, Arizona, brother. I see you. Max respect, my fellow Homo brother, and all my Homo brothers all around the country, or wherever you're watching from. Shout out to y'all. And with that, never forget to mention, bro, Jamatsu Nyazi, bro. Jamatsu is my very big humble man, a very old friend, Jamatsu Yazi. And in the previous video, Jamatsu asked, in my previous video, if you haven't watched, go ahead and watch it. It's about my experience with HIV, AIDS, orphans. He asked what precautions I took before volunteering at the HIV orphanage, and the answer is none. Because we were I only went there to wash and cook and whatnot, and these kids were healthy. They take care of it. The kids who had HIV, they take care of it, so they have a very low viral load. So viral load is basically the amount of viruses in your blood, and so there wasn't really any chance. There was a very low chance of getting HIV from just interacting with them the way I did. So to answer your question, Jamatsu Nyazi, no, I didn't take any precaution other than to just avoid cutting myself, because HIV spreads by direct contact. So when you come in contact with semen or blood, that's how you get HIV. It gets into your blood and it destroys your T cells, your helper T cells, CD4, CD8. They just make the CD8 and the CD4 impossible to fight off other infections and whatnot. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. And Annette says, Annette Trufosa was laughing. I don't know why she was laughing. I think she was laughing due to the fact that I said Eldoret. You see, Eldoret has very funny neighborhoods, very funnily named neighborhoods like Hawaii and California and Jerusalem. So I think she was laughing at that. And also Jamatsu said you need to be on Spotify. Yes, I'm working on that. I'm working on posting this on Spotify so I can reach more people who want to be more Homo friends. We all Homos, bro. We should all live in harmony. So thank you very, very much, all my Homo friends, all my Homo sapiens, all my Homo. There's no Homo habilis and whatever. We're all Homo sapiens, but to all Homo sapiens, thank you very much for joining this live. Keep joining my live. All right, Homo. This Homo is signing out now. See you next time.